Everybody loves a perfect theme song, a melody that stays inside your heart. You might have a nice show and others may think so, but if you want a great connection right from the start, then you gotta have a perfect theme song, so everyone can sing along from home. And while they are singing, the ratings you'll bring in, all because the melody is stuck in their head. You can make the bridge sound Jewish, that would be fine, long as it's familiar but newish. Everyone's falling in line, all because you got a perfect theme song, accompanying the audience for years. And when the show is over, it won't be the end, because the perfect theme song's a life-lasting friend. And speaking of friends, here's your host and MC, 'cause Mondays with Marcus is now a live stream. Whoa, 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 yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the opening stream of Mondays with Marcus, a live stream of consciousness. I'm very excited to be here with you all today in my very first live stream ever. Thank you all for joining us. And a quick point of geography here. You'll see there's a comment section on your screen. Hopefully you do see that. And we'd love to hear from you throughout the broadcast. So that's the only way I'll get to know who is actually watching. So if you'd like to say hello, please do so there. So again, welcome wherever you are tuning in from. I know we have some folks from all over the world here, and I'll be sure to say hello as best I can when I see you pop in with a little hello yourself. I am joined by a partner in crime here who's helping me out throughout the day. I'd like to bring him in for a quick hello. Please put your left hand and right hand together and welcome my dear friend Seth Asa to the broadcast. Hello, Seth.
Hi, Marcus. How are you?
I'm well, and how are you today, sir?
Doing great. It's a beautiful day here in Pennsylvania.
Oh, fantastic. And where in Pennsylvania are you again?
Central Pennsylvania, Lancaster area.
Central Pennsylvania. Da-da-da-da-da. So thank you so much for being here on this maiden voyage. I couldn't drive the car without you, and I appreciate it. It's actually, point of fact, you're the one driving the car in most cases. So Seth is going to be here for all you who are watching, in case you have any questions or whatnot about where we're driving along the way. And what a week it's been. What a build up, what a lead up to a live stream. And I can't tell you what a journey it's been to reinvent, as I'm sure you all have been doing yourselves. And what I wanted to do here is invite artists to have a kind of a one-on-one conversation and learn more about how their process has been this past year and how they have reacted and reinvented themselves to the extent that they have. And so today we are launching this series with an incredible artist who I love dearly, and I met just a few years ago when she came in to sing at room 623. And we became friends and started working a little together too. And I knew I wanted to kick things off with her for sure. Celebrating a brand new album that just got recorded called Dead Reckoning. So please welcome to the studio the lovely and talented Kat Reinhert.
Hey, how are you?
Well, hello, Kat. It's so lovely to see you.
It's great to see you too.
Oh, fantastic. And may I say, what a nice backdrop you have there.
Oh, you like my stars?
I do like your stars, and the biggest one is right in the center there. Your album is fantastic. I just want to say that right off the bat. I withheld some of the adjectives I'd love to smother you with because I just wanted to get you in the studio so badly and start chatting with you. You've done an incredible job, and I want to dig into the album at some point a little bit later on. But first, I want to know, it's 2019, the end of 2019, 2020, and it's starting, and you're trucking along and you're writing your songs and the pandemic hits. And where did it catch you in your tracks? Where were you and how did you react?
With the album or just with life?
You can answer that however you'd like. Yeah.
Well, in September of 2019, in May, I resigned from a gig that I had. I was the director of contemporary voice at the University of Miami, full-time professor there. And in 2019, in May, I resigned and decided that I was going to move back to New York City, where I'd been for a while. And so in September of 2019, I moved back here to lean on my artistic career a lot more than I had before. And my album at that point was at a stage where we'd gone into the studio in May. I'd flown up here and we spent a couple days. And so all the instrumental tracks were done, and a couple of all the scratch vocals. And so we went back in late September and laid down all of the rest of the vocals and background vocals, and then started adding things. And I was kind of thinking like early 2020 release, and then you know,
And
I
then
chose a really good time to make a career switch. Or just a left turn, I guess. So yeah, I mean, I didn't have a gig, I didn't have anything. I was kind of picking up students and making this album. And so like it hit, and then we decided to just keep going. So we mixed the entire thing remotely. I got it mastered and came up with a release plan and decided February 26th, 2021, which was only a couple months ago, to release it. And so yeah, that's kind of the journey of the album. I mean, it was written like in the 5 years prior, kind of just over time. But yeah.
so you've written this project, you're about to release it, and then everything shuts down. And I mean, I know how it hit me, and I'll get into that later on at some point. But were you faced with a moment where you said, okay, um, I'm gonna either press on with this project, and against all odds, I'm gonna put out an album when things are completely shut down. I have no outlet to perform this. People are still don't have any idea what how they're going to be reviewing it, receiving it, listening to it. And there's all of this struggle and hardship all around us. And so what was that moment like, if you had one, where you're like, okay, I might be live streaming, and what's that? Had you had any experience with that? So
No, I mean, what's a live stream a year ago? Like, I have no idea. I think it was something actually that kind of kept me sane. I mean, because I'd moved up here and didn't really have anything happening, I'd been spending a lot of time at home, almost to the point of being in a lockdown by myself, like before the pandemic hit, except that I could go out, like I could go hear things. But I'd been spending a lot of time just working on like music. And I mean, it was already going, and I talked to my producer and we just decided like, let's do this. We can go back and forth. We can get mixes. I mean, the mixing process took a lot longer. Normally it's like 2 days in a studio. And this was like, get a mix from the mixing engineer, listen to it, talk to the producer, go back, make a few adjustments, which are basically like teeny tiny little, like, can you raise this 0.5 dB? Things like that. And then we get the new mixes back. I mean, there were bigger things too, but and just back and forth. So it took a while to mix it, just because of the process of needing time to listen. But that was also, I actually kind of liked it, because it gave me time to sit with the mix that I had received and listen to it a few times and make notes and go back and really craft the sound of the album. And instead of like when I've been in a studio mixing before, you're listening to it in the moment and you're kind of like making split-second decisions. And yeah, you get to take them home and you can make some adjustments, but like the large part is just happening simultaneously. So I actually kind of liked it that I would have time to just sit with a couple songs, because we would only do a couple at a time, and then we'd move on once those were mixed, and then go listen to the whole album. And then the final mix we actually did with something called Audio Movers, where my mixing engineer is in Riverdale, I'm in Manhattan, and my producer is out in New Jersey. And we're all listening to the same session off my mixing engineer's computer, through Logic, through Audio Movers. It was like one of those, this is really happening. This is weird and cool. So, I mean, I think the project kind of kept me motivated. I did a lot with video for the project. So I taught myself how to use Final Cut Pro, and I made some stop motion videos. My goal was 12 videos, so one for every song. I got to 9. I still, no, I got to 10. I have 10 videos up on YouTube, one for, 10 for 10 of the songs. I have 11. It's almost finished, and I don't know if I'm going to get to 12. But that was just a really fun pandemic project because it was just a different way of being creative that I didn't know anything about. Kind of like with this live stream, it's like all the stuff you have to learn, right? You're like, wait, where is that? How do I do that? How do I cut this? Like, I remember watching a video on like how to slice a frame, right? And the video I found was this 10-year-old kid going, use the blade feature. It's right here. And I was like, this 10-year-old knows more about Final Cut Pro than I do. This is terrifying.
They were born on YouTube.
I know.
They were born on YouTube. It's like pressing buttons and turning knobs. That's what they eat for breakfast.
It was amazing though. And I loved his video. It was so cute and it made it not scary to like work in this program. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert of anything, but it was a fun outlet for creativity and to create some lyric videos mostly. And it was great.
Well, I give you a little pushback and say that you developed an expertise, and well, I think you have honestly developed some kind of an expertise in how to embrace, something you do not know. I mean, that's a big struggle. Like you're right now, you're telling a story about actually accomplishing all of these things in a time when the odds were against everything that you were trying to do. And a lot of people weren't able to get there so quickly. And so when faced with that, like, I don't know anything about live streaming or audio movers, or, they wouldn't necessarily say, okay, I'm gonna watch a 10-year-old video, a video, scratch
Video of a 10-year-old.
video of a 10-year-old. Although,
it might have been 10 years old. I don't know.
I would search and I'd be like watching this 10-year-old video, I'd be like explaining how to use the Nintendo joystick. And I'd be like, oh, right, I remember that. Okay, cool. But no, I'm with you and all the different tools that you've grown. So my question for you about that, so you've learned all this stuff. You've learned it because you've had to. And you worked with audio movers and you had more time, not because you necessarily wanted to with the mix for listening, but because the circumstances around you sort of dictated. So my question is, where does intention come in for you as we get closer to the next chapter? And as things start to change in our society and things around us start to change, what are you going to look back on and say, oh, that's going to come with me, and that's definitely coming with me, but this, no, I'm not going to. What's that like for you?
Oh, I don't know. Going forward, it's actually, to be honest, it's a little scarier. It's scary to me. Like I'm kind of an introvert, and not that anyone here would like feel that, but like I like spending time with myself. I like being alone. It's where I kind of recharge, and so part of me is kind of terrified about like, oh my God, now I have to actually book shows and I have to be responsible for that, and I have to figure out how to do that because that's just like, that's one of those things. We all have things in the music business that like aren't our favorite things to do. Like I love making videos. I love working in Photoshop. I like visual manipulation. I've always been kind of a visual person. And so I love all that stuff. So that stuff wasn't scary. And I think I don't know, we were talking before, and I think I'm going to like jump on the snowball and just see like what flies off and what sticks and what doesn't, a little bit, in terms of intention. I mean, just some of the time, like taking walks, I think is one thing that I want to take into like whenever I've really enjoyed that, listening to podcasts and taking walks and just kind of thinking. I started a meditation practice, and so that has been something I've been able to stick with. Artistically, I think most of the things that I've been doing, I'm going to keep doing. It's just a matter of what can I add now that we can do more, I think.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I wanna hear from this album. I've been listening to it quite a bit lately, and I think it's so beautiful. So you prepared a couple of tracks. You're going to sing for us one right now.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about it before you go, or?
It's the first track on the album, and Perry Smith and Jesse Lewis, the two guitarists that are on the album, came up with these really cool parts to go at the throughout the thing. They would always sit there and be like, dude, I want to do that. It was like one of my favorite parts is working with them. So I won't be able to do that because I'm playing piano, but yeah, this is the I guess the cover version on the piano of Following the Clouds, which is the first track off my album. I once had a rocket with a tip of engine red. I lit it in a field of gold, stood back and watched it float overhead, just like I'd imagined, and just like Mama said. And I once had a shiny bike, all green and black and blue. I rode it as I raced the clouds on my way to a life I knew would be just like I'd imagined, just like Mama said. And I once had a life I thought would give me what I need. Turns out that rockets lie, and bikes are only meant for speed. It's not what I'd imagined. It's not like Mama said. But I'm still following the clouds. I'm the sky, life is the weather. Oh, I'm still following the clouds. I'm the sky, life is the weather. Oh. Yeah, my life's not what I'd imagined, but it's all that I want it to be. Yeah, my life is what I'd imagined. My mama wished hers could be. Oh, can't. Marcus, I can't hear you.
Well, now you can hear me. How about
Now I can.
Oh, I just gave everyone my credit card number. That's all that was. And yours. I hope that's okay.
It's perfect.
That's what we do here. We're just trying to help people. You know, it's hard out there.
It
So
is.
I figured, why not get the credit card from an artist? That's the people who have all the money right now.
100%.
Such a beautiful song, and what you and David did, David Cook, your producer, what you guys did in the whole band. It's such an incredible sound. The whole album I find to be so calming and courageous,
Thanks.
and I feel like it's really an album for. I mean, I specifically feel like it addresses so many generational dynamics, life moments that so many people struggle with and wrestle with, and I found such a release when I listened to the album the very first time. And I think I may have told you that it reminded me of that same feeling. This isn't necessarily a sonic comparison or a comparison from a composer standpoint, but the same feeling that I got when I listened to Tracy Chapman's New Beginnings. And
Wow, that album makes me cry. So
it's but it's the type of, like, I'm taken on such a journey through life and through past, present, future, and seamlessly, and I'm cradled, and and it's a provocative, and I'm crying as well, but it's soothing, and I get that from this album. And in the days when people are, I know, not listening to albums all the way through, I commend you on sticking to that story, and also delivering not just individually amazing tracks, but an overall amazing story that you've handed and created for us in a time when I feel like we need it most.
thanks, Marcus. Like,
No.
I'm gonna gonna like lose my stuff here.
Well,
Um,
I'll lighten the mood here a little bit just to tell you that I also love the stars that you have behind you, I mentioned before, and I think
uh,
folks at home need to know, are those handmade?
oh, they certainly are.
I mean,
I have felt around my house. I don't know. I just have like felt because I make cards and sometimes I'll use felt and just do fun things. I think this felt I don't remember why I had it, but I just usually have this great curtain up, and I was doing a live stream show for Music Pro ASCAP. Oh God, last week. It feels like forever, but I did this show, and everybody when they got on for the sound check had all these like cool backgrounds, and I was like, this is a boring curtain. I was like, what do I have around my house? I was like, I think I have felt. And I did. And I had all these yellow stars. And so I just like, I didn't even draw them. I just like cut them out. And like, they are all safety pinned to my curtain.
It's almost Cassiopeia. Almost. Almost there. I was resisting, but I can't anymore. I was going to basically suggest that it seems like it just felt like a good idea at the time.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
no problem. I can't.
Yeah, that I love puns. I grew up, my dad gives.
Oh gosh.
I didn't get his gift, but yeah.
Well, stick around, kid. There's plenty more where that came from. And so this album is called Dead Reckoning, and we're going to toss up some information so folks can get it. And this is everything you need to know about Kat Reinhert. She's got a fantastic website up there. It's got information about her album, her as an artist, her background as a teacher, et cetera, and so forth. And that's the PayPal link and her Venmo as well. And that's amazing that we all have that ability to just show some love right away to the artist that we are enjoying and loving. And what Seth is going to do for me, I hope, is going to slide those links in the comments section that you've been all actively populating with your lovely comments, and so that you cut and paste and however you need to support Kat and get that album. And Kat also has for sale a few items which we can
Oh yeah, I actually
home.
have real physical CDs.
Yeah.
And if you order one, which you can do off Bandcamp or my website, Bandcamp is actually like super easy to order off of, and it's kind of cool. You get sticker, because I have stickers, because everybody needs stickers. And you can also go to my website, and I have all kinds of merch. So I have like, I know this is like really silly of me, but I actually bought my own merch to see if it was any good. So yeah, you can buy different kinds of t-shirts. You can get them in any color or style that you want them in. I have mugs and books and I don't know, all sorts of fun things. Yeah.
I mean, it beats going to a shopping mall. I mean, that should be your slogan. You got everything, everything you need at katreinhert.com.
Yeah, I don't think they're sweatpants. I'm sorry.
Well, what have you been doing? My God.
Well, I wear like jeans,
Jeez.
you know.
Can you please get the sweatpants around? I want to, while you're folks at home, while you're looking at that comment box, if you were, want to make sure you also toss some questions in there that you might have for Kat, because for those of you who don't know, we have an after party coming up. And as we wind things down here, we're going to take a quick 30-second break, and then we're going to come back for the after party. We're going to get another performance from Kat, and she's going to divulge something she's never told anyone else on camera before. And we're going to get some of your questions as well. So please populate that comment box as well, or I'll be forced to just throw puns after puns after puns, and that's not going to be fun for anyone but me and Kat, I guess, as well. So thank you again, Kat, so much. This was great to chat with you.
Super fun.
As our first guest, I hope you will definitely come back and talk to us again, and we can talk more about the album and hear more tracks and more of the new stuff you've written. And to those of you at home, if you're sitting back and you're just having a grand old time here with Mondays with Marcus, and you want to show us some support, this is all the information that you need to be able to do that. There is all the information that you need to be able to do that. You got our PayPal link, the Venmo, and of course the all coveted YouTube page that we'd love you to subscribe to. And of course, you're either watching it from YouTube tonight, or you are tuned into our Facebook presence either on my artist page or the Mondays with Marcus Facebook group, which is facebook.com. Marcus Mondays, I think is what it's called. Yes, Marcus Mondays. So that's everything we have for you today. And we have an incredible show next week. I'd like to welcome in a great artist. And Seth, if you can toss me back up on the screen. Hey, excellent. Look at this camera too. We're a full studio, full functioning situation here. But I have a great guest coming back to join. His name is Steve Sandberg, and he'll be here on next Monday, April 12th. And he's going to play the heck out of his piano. And it's just going to be amazing. He's been doing live streaming from the beginning. And I can't wait to get to chat with him. Like every good stream, there has to come a time when we get to say goodbye. And this is that time. We've come together for a moment today, young ones and some who would rather not say. Finding connection isn't easy, I know. And that's why I created this show. See you next week, unless you stick around for the after party. Bye-bye. Everybody loves a perfect theme song, a melody that stays inside your heart. You might have a nice show and others may think so, but if you want a great connection right from the start, then you gotta have a perfect theme song, so everyone can sing along from home. And while they are singing, the ratings you'll bring in, all because the melody is stuck in their head. You can make the bridge sound Jewish, that would be fine, long as it's familiar but newish. Everyone's falling in line, all because you got a perfect theme song, accompanying the audience for years. And when the show is over, it won't be the end, because the perfect theme song's a life-lasting friend. And speaking of friends, here's your host and MC, 'cause Mondays with Marcus is now a live stream. Whoa, 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 yeah. I have never been so happy as when I'm with you. I get lots of funny feelings and my dreams come true. When you're in my arms, there is nowhere to be blue. It doesn't matter where I am as long as I'm with you. Do you know that you are the most wonderful of all? Does it even matter when you see a fella fall? When our lips are kissing, I feel anything but small. It doesn't matter where we kiss, if I am kissing you, I'm in love. And like no other, gray skies above can't block my way. I can't believe I get to love her. Now I can see that my happiness won't end today. If you can imagine when a flower starts to grow, or when suddenly a butterfly begins to show, the best was yet to come, but how it came I do not know. It doesn't matter where I am as long as I'm with you. I'm in love, and like no other, gray skies above can't block my way. I can't believe that I get to love her. Now I can see that my happiness won't end today. If you can imagine when a flower starts to grow, or when suddenly a butterfly begins to show, the best was yet to come, but how it came I do not know. It doesn't matter where, doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter where I am as long as I'm with you. Oh boy, well, you got to have a studio feed in there if you're going to put a studio track on. That was a great time. We had a fun time recording that track. That was Mr. Joel Fromm featured on that tenor sax solo. Tune I wrote called As Long As I'm With You from an album I put out a while ago called Lovely Way to Spend an Evening. And it was also featured on another album called Almost Love. Both those are available on my website and Spotify and all the other places that you stream music. Are you having a good time, folks? Are you enjoying yourself here looking at a computer screen or a device, whatever it is you're doing? I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be sharing music with you, even though it's remote and I can't see your faces directly. Um, I was part of a beautiful celebration last night, celebrating a dear friend of mine, Jocelyn Medina. She is celebrating her not only her birthday, but a 6-year anniversary of her Sunday Vocal Jazz Jam, which she had been hosting up at Room 623. I mentioned before, and Room 623 is where we would be right now if if things were different, and that's where we'd be having the after party. I wanted to have this little moment carved out as to simulate that moment at the bar after the show is done and you head on over and you just chit-chatting with whoever's there. But we normally would be at Room 623, and that was a special place, is a special place, as we will be reopening. It's a beautiful speakeasy jazz club in Harlem on 119th Street between Frederick Douglass and St. Nick. And we just opened the doors. I launched it in 2019 in April. And we would have been celebrating our 1-year anniversary in 2020, and we didn't make it to the April 5th. We had to shut down in March 15th. And if you're doing the math and you remember what today's date is, today would be our 2-year anniversary of Room 623. We opened the doors on April 5th with the John Davis Trio, and we had Marcello Pelletieri on drums and Gianluca Renzi playing the bass. And it was a special opening night, and it was an incredible year throughout. And it was heart-wrenching when we had to close the doors, but it was the safe and right thing to do. But I am very happy to announce that we will reopen. And I'm not sure exactly when yet, but we're taking all kinds of steps that we need to do to make sure that it's once again safe to gather. We are a below ground establishment, so we have to do extra work to make sure that we get our ventilation and all that stuff ready to go so it's safe. But we will gather again and we will rub elbows. And as I mentioned, Jocelyn's celebration last night, someone chimed in and said, I miss hugging people's faces. I want to touch your faces. And I know that's the opposite of what we are being told to do right now. And that's okay. That's my thought. It's hard. And but we will get there. So here we are at the after party. Hope you have a cocktail and you're enjoying yourself, if you're of age, of course. And you're welcome to chime in on the comment section. And I'd love to know, what are you drinking? What's going on? Where are you right now? Feel free to let us know. All kinds of fun cocktails out there to be made and consumed. Um, I have some iced tea. That's what I'll be drinking a little bit later on. And I think actually, Seth, we have that graphic from Room 623. We can toss it there again, let people know if you're just tuning in. This is just to give you a snapshot of what it was like at the club before we had to shut down. It's so much incredible music and positivity and spontaneity. You'll see in the upper left-hand corner there a little blue light. That's what you want to look for when you're coming down Frederick Douglass and you turn onto 119th Street at night. No signage out front, just that blue light. And if you'd like to support the club while we are temporarily closed and to help us reopen as strongly as possible, there's the information if you'd like to toss a few shekels our way as well. Or just check out the website room623.com and you can catch a good snapshot there as well of what the club is like. So without further ado, officially welcome you to the Mondays with Marcus after party. Again, hope you're having a great time. We're going to welcome the lovely and talented Kat Reinhert back to the after party.
Hi. I feel like I needed to like have an outfit switch or something, you know? It's like,
Wait a minute, you didn't oh, okay.
I mean, I could have, my closet's right there.
All right, I'll sing another 6 songs and you go ahead and change your wardrobe. No, are you kidding? No, you're perfect just the way you are. You know, it's fine. I think everyone at home probably changed their outfits. That's what they did. You know, change their sweatpants. I don't know. Are people wearing outfits yet?
I still wear outfits every day when I
God bless you. You do that. So
every day.
but you didn't go through a pajama phase.
No.
Do you like what do you have against pajamas?
Man, if I'm working, like I want to be in a mindset that I'm like working. Like I do wear sweats on like the day that I don't work, but like I work, you know, I'm working like, or I'm sitting working or I'm writing songs or whatever. And like, I want to be in a mindset of like, I'm at, you know, I'm doing my job. My job is an artist. My job is being a musician. My job is being a songwriter, you know, like I want to show up for myself. So, I mean, I don't always wear makeup and like full, I don't always go that far because if nobody's going to see me, I don't care. But yeah, it feels good to like put on clothes. And when I teach, which I do 2 times a week, I wear shoes.
Wait, sorry, what remind me? Shoes?
I know, right? Yeah.
Slippers. I know what slippers are.
Mm-mm.
No, I really respect that a lot. And you know, as I look back right now and take 5 seconds and look back over the last year and change, there definitely is a change when I, you know, when I'm lounging around in house clothes versus, you know, putting on an actual outfit. To, you know, and I think that's something that a lot of, and I know you're a teacher, and to hear you speak that this way, it's no surprise because you're such a motivational force and you lead by example. And but there is a definite difference when, you know, if you're wearing super comfortable clothes that are not necessarily your outside clothes, it's like, well, I'll get there when I get there, and I'm cozy. And for a time, I felt like, I mean, personally, I needed that, you know, and that worked for that moment. Um, but I completely understand and respect you
I
that
mean, I think, yeah, I mean, it wasn't even all that too. I think mentally it definitely helped me separate like when I was kind of doing things I needed to get done for my artist project, for my album, for whatever like educational things I was doing, things I was writing. And then like when I'm done, like my day was over. So I could like put on my sweatpants. And I think especially when we were in lockdown, like that really helped me mentally kind
mm,
of feel as if the days didn't just like blend into each other like amorphously, like you know, a slug or something. It was like
yeah.
I would get up, you know, do stuff, have, you know, I mean, not fancy clothes. I mean, I haven't worn a dress, and because that just feels like way too much.
Neither have I.
But
I
like,
was gonna say I haven't either.
yeah, but you know,
Tempted as I have been.
yeah.
But you know, I no, I remember the first time that I decided to me and my girlfriend decided we were gonna go out and like pretend we were going out on a date. And it was a wonderful night. And it was like we both we had this moment of like when we were dressed and ready to go, it's like, what are we doing? This is feels so strange. And we walked along the Hudson and it was this beautiful um, you know, kind of starry night along the river. But we were dressed formally, like we were going out for a nice meal and a show and the whole thing. And it was
That's
nice.
awesome.
Had a little picnic on the river. Um, but it's wild. So all right, I want to ask you, I want to dig in a little deeper with this beautiful album.
Sure.
So Dead Reckoning.
Yeah.
You've posted a few things. You've been talking about with some definitions and defining that for people because it's not common in the vernacular for people. So tell me how you came to dead reckoning, and you can start with a definition. What does it actually mean?
Well, first of all, it's a nautical term that means, I mean, it's a fancier definition if you look it up, but it's a term that sailors use so that it's talking about they know where they are because they know how far they've come, so they know how to get back home. And that's essentially what I boiled it down to, is knowing where you are to know how far you've come so that you know how to get back home. Through the dead reckoning is like how you align yourself to the stars, essentially, so that you know where you are in the world. I don't know. The phrase hit me. I was in the gym lifting weights, and this phrase, dead reckoning, popped into my head. And I was like, I think that's a nautical term. I'm not sure. And I had my phone and I sat down on the workout bench and I was like, what does it mean? And I looked it up. And I think I wrote most of the lyrics for that song actually at the gym on the workout bench.
That's amazing.
Just
Love that.
And then I, went away and found the music. But yeah, it was a interesting place to get hit with the inspiration bug of creativity.
I love that song, and I love that you make us wait for it. I love that it's tracked. Spoiler alert.
It's the last track.
Last track. That's an okay kind of spoiler, right?
It couldn't go anywhere else. We thought about it. Like David and I were like, where else I'm like, it can't go anywhere else. It can't. Like it's the title track, but it's last.
Yeah, I mean, listen to what you just said. I mean, it's about coming full circle.
Yeah.
And there's a lyric in there that I love that when I heard it for the first time, I was like, oh my God, I know that. Because my sister is who I think you've met once. I think she was at
the gig that,
yeah,
I remember that, the Christmas
that
thing.
you sang, right, when you sang at 623. And so she works for Outward Bound, one of the many jobs that she does. Now she's in rabbinical school, and she's incredible. I'm going to do a whole show on my sister at some point. But she Outward Bound is an incredible organization that she works for and has for many, many years. And their motto is a ship in the harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are for. And when I heard that, and I'd never heard that outside of really her using it from time to time, and it was very centering for me to hear you say that. And it just brought, when you hear something you're familiar with, and then you hear someone else use it, and you're like, it just brings more depth to it. And that album, that song, this I really don't mean, but it does anchor very nicely in where you have it. And because we've been through so much on your album at that when we get there, and it's like we need that kind of, well, listen, I mean,
I know. No, I know. I'm laughing because I'm like, yeah, you kind of do go through a lot.
oh, I'm telling you, I mean, think about it. You were saying how Tracy Chapman made you cry, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
years later too, like even whenever I'm just like, oh God.
Sure. And there's nothing in your album that I can think of that has an expiration date either. I mean,
Thanks.
these are life-lasting moments that you've given us. So I really appreciate that. And I hope that that everyone out there watching and listening right now goes in and picks up a copy of that album. Now, Seth, what do we have in terms of questions for Kat from the audience? Do we have anything that folks are dying to know before I dive into a little bit more? Let's see here. Oh, we got one here. What do we got here? Christopher Prince Barry says, hello, Christopher Prince Barry. What a great person he is. He's an incredible man. I hope you meet him someday. He says, your music is emotional. Does it make you emotional the 1000th time you played it?
Wow, that's the question. I think it kind of comes in waves, to be perfectly honest. Like when you write them, a lot of times like there's an emotion behind it, and you're often very emotional in that moment. And then you kind of have to get away from that to objectively look at the structure of the song and make sure it actually works and like it really says the things you're trying to say. Because sometimes in a moment of emotion, I find I'm not always as clear with what I'm saying. And so it's not getting the point across in the way that I thought it did. So, and then you kind of have to go relearn, or at least I have to go relearn the song and find a way back into it. Because you're then maybe months sometimes away from the original moment. And so you kind of have to recall that and find new ways and new things about the song itself. And I think with every song, at least on this album so far, I mean, I've been playing most of these for somewhere between 3 and 5 years, 3 and 6 years now. You know, not every day, but every time I come to it, I'm trying to find something different within the song. So I don't know if it's hard, but it's just trying to look at the song and being in the moment of that song's moment. Because you know that the people that are listening maybe haven't heard it before. And so how can you help them hear it for the first time?
Yeah, that's probably that's like when all else fails, right? When
Yeah.
all else fails, when you can't squeeze any more juice out of the song for yourself, and you're like, I have to sing this song again, and I'm not there. That's what you have to remember, that the people are hearing it for the first time, and um,
And there's always something. I mean, I would guess it's kind of like I haven't ever been in a musical or a play, but like you do those every night, sometimes twice a day. Like, how do you find? There's always something to find.
there
Whether
is.
it's
There is, and I have done. I mean, that's where I come from. I come from, doing
right.
theater and musical theater, and so when you're searching for reality every single downbeat when the show starts, or if it's a play, when curtain up, yeah, you do have to search, and it's funny. You don't, you bring. This is where you can bring yourself. This is where you bring yourself to the art, and so if you're connected to reality, that is, an emotion that is appropriate, or fits in with the song, then right, fair game,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Use it. All right, I have a question for you.
Sure.
There's a phrase that we know quite commonly as we refer to these incredible people that have responded to catastrophes throughout history, right? First responders, and and these people have saved lives. They do. They're heroes, and without even thinking. And then when the crisis starts to level out a little bit, um, most often the energy turns to artists, um, telethons and benefit concerts, and just needing art. So my question to you is, do you ever consider yourself a second responder? And if so, what is your relationship to that idea?
Wow, that's a heavy question, Marcus.
I like to keep it light.
No, I think it's good. Like, let's go for it. I don't think I've ever thought about those words in that, like, second responder. I don't think I've ever thought of that, but in terms of being a lens through which um, tragedy or even just like huge life events get processed, yes. I think art helps us process heavy things in ways that sometimes it's too hard to face by ourselves. So artists, we get practice in facing those things, I think, and putting them, and we have an outlet for it. And so sometimes it's, I think with songs especially, we get to be the voices for the people that don't have one. And I've always thought about that. I mean, I have a song. What album is it on? Oh, I don't remember. It's called The Voices We Ignore. And yeah, it's about that idea that like we are the voices of the people that, don't have that voice. And I think it's a very important part of being an artist. Um, I think on this album too, like, I mean, I talk about anxiety, there's stuff about imposter syndrome, there's love, there's, loss. It's my way of processing, but I think it also then hopefully translates and helps someone else process some of those emotions that we don't always, hear about. So, yeah.
Well, I can tell you that it does. It does help. It's helped me process, and I think it does help other people as well. Um, Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I appreciate your courage always. And there's one more question that's coming in, and this is from someone named Jerry Goldhaber. This is someone that I might be related to.
Do you know who this person is?
I might know who he is. I have to check, see what the family tree says. He might be my dad. I'm not sure. But he says, Kat, if the pandemic were over today, Would you rush back to the studio for your next album or stay with the pandemic method?
You know, I can't wait to get back and see my band and see the people in my band and, like, make music with other people. Um,
Right.
I mean, my husband is a jazz bass player, but we actually don't make much music together. I mean, we even haven't during the pandemic. So we're so busy
Really?
that yeah, you know, and, like, he needs to work on his stuff and I need to work on my stuff, and it's not always the same. You know, we've played together a few times for fun, but, yeah, I mean, I miss making music with people, and the studio experience, like, that's been a you know, that doesn't happen as often, I think, just because, you know, it's expensive to go into a studio and record and things like that, but, just the experience of playing live with people, yeah, and recording itself, I mean, I've been working on my production skills in Logic, and that's a very different way of working with sound and working with art and creativity in music. I just think it's different. I don't know if it's better or worse. It's just to me, it's
Mm,
just different. It's not good or bad. It's a very different aesthetic of creating and a very different aesthetic of working. Like in a room, if I'm with my band, we're talking about like, well, how do we want to do this? And like I have a groove idea or we have this idea and we're kind of all simultaneously making the thing. If I'm in a DAW and I'm producing it, I'm sending some sort of drum track to a bass player who's going to lay something down, and that's going to totally influence whatever the actual drummer plays in the end, which is going to influence what the but it's all like after the fact. It's not happening concomitantly with the other people. And so it's a different things happen differently in those moments, which is why with this record I wanted to record it live in the studio. So we tracked all of the instrumental tracks live. There's no I mean there's overdubbing and stuff like that, but all the basic stuff is
mm.
all like done at the same time because I wanted the energy that gets captured when you have four people making music at the same time. I mean, and I was there singing, but like 16 hours of singing is hard to get really good takes. And I was producing the section. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I haven't, it's been hard to, I mean, what my dad is calling the pandemic method, just remote recording. I think that energy that you get when you're in person, I mean, that's like the essence of, and you can hear it on the album. I mean, you can hear the synergy and like the sound that you have cultivated again with David it's all encompassing and it's beautiful and it's seamless. All right, ready? Lightning round. You all set?
Okay. Yeah,
You
I'm ready.
Go. Favorite superhero?
Wonder Woman.
Awesome. Chocolate and peanut butter or peanut butter and jelly?
Ooh. If it's dark chocolate and peanut butter.
Okay, you can definitely qualify that one. All the secrets of the ocean or all the secrets of outer space?
Ocean.
Awesome. One person throughout history to have lunch with?
John Mayer.
Okay. Follow up. Does your husband know?
Yeah.
Okay. Just hey, listen. I mean, why not? This is a live stream of consciousness, so we're going there. All right, last one. Fantasy concert to attend.
Joni Mitchell in her
I knew you were
heyday.
gonna say that. I knew you were going to say Joni Mitchell. That's beautiful. You have an album called Spark, right?
Yeah.
Spark, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to listen to that one yet, so that's going to be next on my cat binge list of albums. Kat, it's been so wonderful. You're going to sing another song for us, yes?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually do the last song of my album, the first one and the last one. I'm gonna play Dead Reckoning. So,
Perfect way
yeah.
to bring it to the close here. Ladies and gentlemen, please sit back, relax, and enjoy Kat Reinhert performing Dead Reckoning from her album, Dead Reckoning.
And I just want to give a shout out to Marcus for having me on and to all of you for checking this out. Thank you very much. This is Dead Reckoning. I can see all my mistakes left behind in my wake. Like a northern star, they've led me far from home. I distance the life I knew, each wave pushing my truth. Crashing sand upon the shore, my heart could take no more. I found my dead reckoning, in sorrow and sadness. I found my dead reckoning in all of this mess. I've got more stars to uncover, more maps to plot a course. Take the helm in my hands, sound the bells of sweet remorse. I know the way home in irons, bracing winds kaleidoscope. Mourn the loss of a journey not taken, and anchor my heart in hope. I found my dead reckoning in sorrow and sadness. I found my dead reckoning in all of this mess. I found my dead reckoning in sorrow and sadness. I found my dead reckoning in all of this mess. A ship in the harbor is safe, that's not what ships are for. A ship in the harbor is safe, that's not what ships are for. A ship in the harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are for. I found my dead reckoning in sorrow and sadness. I found my dead reckoning in all of this mess. I found my dead reckoning in sorrow and sadness. I found my dead reckoning in all of this mess.
The incredible Kat Reinhert. I'm telling
Thanks,
you,
Marcus.
it's such a beautiful song. You're such a beautiful artist. Seth, let's toss up that information about how to grab this album and support Kat again. And if you're watching on the computer or whatnot, you want to take a screenshot if that's easier for you. Oh, look at that. We got a little ticker going at the bottom.
It is. And that is the correct PayPal, just in case anybody, it does have 2 S's, just in case anybody, there was someone in the chat who had had a question, but yeah, it is.
I mean, there you go. Thank you so much for pointing that out. And yes, in the comment box, we also have that too. And speaking of the comment box, quick shout outs. We got Therese Janeko is watching in with Shaney, I presume, as well. And I saw Janelle Pedersen's watching from Cortland. Love Cortland. Cortland is, of course, how I first got to know Seth, who's our tech support tonight. And then we also got Christopher Prince Berry. Big shout out to you and your Cinnamon Toast Crunch and coconut milk. Well, how about that for an after party cocktail?
Dude, that sounds amazing.
I used to eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but I was only allowed, I think, during the summertime. That's how my parents regulated sugar cereals.
That and Golden Grams, I'm just in trouble.
Honey Nut Cheerios was my weakness. And we also got Andrea Wolpert. Hello, Andrea. Andrea Wolper is going to be a guest on this show in a couple of months, I believe. And also want to say shout out to Jonah. Jonah Berman is tuning in, and I hope Joan is as well. If I didn't get to you on the comment section, I promise I will get to you next time. Folks, this has been such an incredible experience and an incredible time. And I didn't forget, and Kat, you're not getting off the hook, one little secret that you've never shared with anyone on camera before.
My favorite food is popcorn.
See, folks, it can be just like that. I love knowing that, actually. Her favorite food is popcorn. Do you have a favorite flavor?
Just regular, like salt and butter.
Just
Yeah.
salt and butter. Okay, I'm gonna go deeper. Air pop or microwave, or do you do it on the stove?
Not microwave. I didn't even own a microwave for like 7 years. It's amazing. Yeah, no, air popped is my favorite. Yeah.
Nice. Well, now that we have that information, now we can officially end the show here.
Popcorn
Kat,
party.
popcorn party. Hey, listen, amen to that. Maybe that's what we'll do. You know what? We can reach out to like Jiffy Pop or, no, what's come on, Orville Redenbacher.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they would like to, be a part of
Ooh,
the organization here. Right
that's a
now,
good
we're
idea.
sponsored by the color blue and the concept of thinking. That's who our sponsors
You
are.
could pop popcorn in the background.
Totally. Why not? Shame. I have no shame whatsoever. It's a live stream of consciousness, and we're totally stripped down here. Kat, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was amazing. What a great way to spend a Monday.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. I wish you so much success with this album. I hope everyone in the world
Thanks.
gets to hear it. I think it's healing.
Thank you.
I think it's a powerful collection of music, and you have an incredible group with you. I want to list them all, but you can find all the discography on your website, I know, and so I invite folks to go take a deeper dive into Kat Reinhert and everything that she is offering to the world. It's really special, and we need it this time especially. So thank you to Seth Asa for all the incredible tech support. Please put both your right hand and your left hand together several times for Seth Asa, and thank you to yourselves for tuning in and jumping in the boat with me in this live stream. Gotta throw that in there as well. What's next? Next week, next Monday, we have now the snowball is kicked over the mountain here, and so we have Steve Sandberg coming in April 12th, and he will join us for another session of Mondays with Marcus, a live stream of consciousness. In the meantime, folks, I look forward to connecting with you again next week. And please, wherever you are, I hope you can stay safe, stay compassionate, and stay engaged. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Bye-bye.
Everybody loves a perfect theme song, a melody that stays inside your heart. You might have a nice show and others may think so, but if you want a great connection right from the start, then you gotta have a perfect theme song, so everyone can sing along from home. And while they are singing, the ratings you'll bring in, all because the melody is stuck in their head. You can make the bridge sound Jewish, that would be fine, long as it's familiar but newish. Everyone's falling in line, all because you got a perfect theme song, accompanying the audience for years. And when the show is over, it won't be the end, because the perfect theme song's a life-lasting friend. And speaking of friends, here's your host and MC, 'cause Mondays with Marcus is now a live stream. Whoa, whoa, whoa.